Alrighty, so one of the other Pokemon that you can get in Celadon City is Eevee, as you guys saw in my episode. Eevee is a highly recommended Pokemon for anyone in the use of my imagination. Eevee is kind of an interesting Pokemon in this game. It only evolves into 3 Pokemon in this game. I'm not going to show Eevee's stats, but I will show off its evolutions in this game. By the use of the Water Stone, you will get Vaporeon. Vaporeon is more defensive of the group, and it's an alright water type. It specializes mostly in special attack and HP, and as well as special defense, so I guess it's actually pretty decent if you want to have a pretty good defensive Pokemon. And also one who has a lot of HP. Using the Thunderstone will give you Jolteon. This one specializes in, once again, special attack and as well as speed. This one is actually the one that I would recommend more of the group. While its defenses may not be that good, all of it is made up with speed. Like previously mentioned Voltorb, it becomes one of the fastest Pokemon in the game. But it's only the second fastest electric-type Pokemon in the first generation. So, really good, but it's kind of frail. Finally, by Firestone, you will get Flareon. Flareon is actually a little bit more weird than the other Pokemon that Eevee evolves into. This one is actually more offensive than especially offensive, unlike many fire types. In this game, it's not that much of a good Pokemon, but it does take special hits pretty well. So, unfortunately, its physical attacks moves don't exist in this game, not until the next generation, thanks to the physical special split. But I guess if you want to have a rather interesting Pokemon on your team, this one could be rather decent. The only downside is, most of the moves that it learns don't really suit well for its stats. It is a good Pokemon, don't get me wrong, but the moves that it learns just don't suit it well. So, you might want to be careful with this one. While we were at the Celadon department store, not the department store, but the game corner, one of the new Pokemon that you can actually get there is Pinsir. Pinsir is exclusive to Leaf Green, not in FireRed, so yeah, you FireRed users get a little bit nerfed out of this. But anyway, Pinsir is actually a really good Pokemon. I consider this to be a very underrated bug type. Its stats right here pretty much just show for why I consider this to be a very underrated bug type. It's a really good physical attacker, and it's also rather decently fast. It gets a Mega Evolution in Generation 6, but in this game, I'm not going to show it because it's kind of irrelevant to show. Exclusive to FireRed at the Celadon game corner, and you can also get this later on, both Pinsir and Scyther. Well, I kind of already said. Yeah, never mind. Scyther is up next. Scyther is... It's kind of like Pinsir, is a really good Pokemon, and I kind of consider it to be underrated, like several other bug types in this game. While it has the same stats as, well, the same stat total as Pinsir, it's much more faster, but not as aggressive as Pinsir is. So I guess if you want to have an average bug type to use, I could pretty much recommend Scyther and Pinsir a lot. Another Pokemon you could get at the game corner is Tritini. Tritini is the very first Dragon type to be introduced. Like many Dragon types, it's a really good Pokemon, and to get it, it is kind of expensive to get, but if you can get it, great Pokemon. While its stats are pretty balanced out, getting it is all worthwhile. It takes a while to level up, but if you can do that, you got probably one of the best Dragon-type Pokemon ever. If you can get over 9,000 coins and get, I think, 4,500 in Leaf Green, but over 9,000 in FireRed, you will get the all well-known Porygon. Porygon is average, I guess. It's not too bad, but not too good, though. In fact, it's actually kind of hard for me to recommend Porygon. It's more just there just to be like a trophy that you've gotten a lot of coins at the game corner. Unfortunately, in order to get to its other evolutions, it is kind of impossible to do it in this game. But if you could somehow, you would get a pretty decent special attacker. So, like any normal type, it's slow, but all of the others seem pretty decent. Out on Route 16, there are 2 new Pokemon that you can find out there. One of them being Raticate, the evolution of Rattata. This one, like Rattata, I really don't recommend unless if you want to have a rather decent HM slave. While its stats are kind of all over the place, this pretty much just shows on how much I really don't recommend this Pokemon, even if I'm kind of scared to death of rats. Now, the other Pokemon that you can find out on Route 16 is Doduo. This one is actually a really good Pokemon that I would recommend that you guys to have. Despite it having no wings, somehow it can fly. If you haven't gotten a flying type Pokemon yet, this one I actually recommend that you guys get. Kind of like with Spearow, along with this evolution, which we have not found yet, it is really fast and really aggressive. However, it's not really that good in terms of taking hits. But if you want to have a really fast Pokemon on your team, Doduo is a really great Pokemon to have. It takes a little bit to level up, but if you can do that, great Pokemon.